Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary? It's not luck, it's not talent, and it's not even opportunity. The real secret lies in how you begin your day. Most people wake up reactive. They grab their phone, check notifications, rush into tasks, and allow the world to control them. But the top 1%, they wake up differently. They have a morning secret, a ritual that gives them total control over their mind, body, and destiny. Morning is not just the start of your day, it is the foundation of your success. If your morning is weak, your day collapses. But if your morning is strong, your entire life gains momentum. Imagine waking up with energy, clarity, and absolute certainty of who you are and where you're heading. That is the secret of the 1%. Success is never an accident. It is designed. And the design begins at dawn. Today, I want to share with you 7 powerful principles that will transform your mornings, sharpen your focus, and put you in total control. If you master these, you will never live like the 99% again. The very first hour after you open your eyes is not just another hour. It is the steering wheel of your entire day. Think of it like this. When a pilot takes off, the first few minutes in the air determine the stability of the entire flight. If the takeoff is rough, the journey becomes shaky. But if the takeoff is smooth, the flight feels effortless. The same principle applies to your life. Most people lose the battle of their day the moment they wake up because they hand over their first hour to the world. The alarm rings, and instead of owning their mind, they grab their phone. Notifications, emails, messages, and social media start dictating their emotions. Running through the park before they've even brushed their teeth, they've allowed the world to pour in chaos, stress, and comparison. That's why so many people feel behind before the day even begins. But the top 1%, they understand the secret. If you control your first hour, you control your destiny. This sacred first hour is the golden hour of transformation. It is the time to plant seeds of focus, clarity, energy that will grow throughout the day. If you spend this hour intentionally, your productivity skyrockets, your focus sharpens, and your energy levels remain steady. Ask yourself, how do you want to start your morning? Do you want to start it reacting to the noise of others? Or do you want to begin by investing in yourself? When you give the first hour to your growth, the world no longer controls you, you control the world. The formula is simple. Begin with silence or meditation to center your mind. Even 5 minutes of deep breathing clears mental fog. Then, engage in movement, stretch, exercise, or walk. This activates your body and ignites your energy. Next, feed your mind with wisdom. Read a few pages of an inspiring book, listen to something motivational, or write in your journal. Finally, design your day by writing down your top 3 priorities. These are your non-negotiables, the things that guarantee progress. Do this daily and you will notice something profound. The quality of your mornings will begin to dictate the quality of your life. When you guard this hour with discipline, you stop being a prisoner of circumstances and start becoming the architect of your reality. Remember, the morning doesn't just set the tone for the day. It sets the rhythm for your entire destiny. If you win the first hour, you win the day. And if you win enough days, you win the life you dream of. One of the greatest secrets of the top 1% is their relationship with time. They understand that success is not only about working hard, but about working with clarity and peace when distractions are silent. And there's only one time of the day when the world is quiet, when the noise of chaos has not yet begun, when opportunity whispers only to those awake enough to hear it. The early morning hours. Most people live in a cycle of exhaustion. Stay up late, binge watching shows, scrolling endlessly, or drowning in shallow entertainment. They go to bed past midnight, drag themselves out of bed at the last possible moment. They wake up tired, rushed, and reactive. Day begins in panic mode, running late, skipping breakfast, and hurrying to survive. This is how the 99% live. But the 1%, they wake up before the world wakes up. They don't wait for life to shake them out of bed. They rise with intention, while others are still lost in sleep. Why? Because those early hours are a gift of silence, solitude, and focus. When you wake up early, something extraordinary happens. The world is quiet. The phone is silent. There are no distractions, no noise, no demands. You suddenly gain a window of pure clarity where you can hear your own thoughts, where you can reflect on your goals, and where you can plan your future without interruption. These hours are not just hours, they are multipliers of time. What takes 3 hours to do in the middle of the day, you can complete in 1 hour at dawn. Think of history's greatest minds. Inventors, philosophers, leaders, and creators. Many of them were early risers. They understood that greatness is born in the stillness of the morning. The early hours allow you to think deeply, create freely, and prepare powerfully for the battles of the day. It's not about torturing yourself with less sleep. It's about sleeping with discipline and waking with purpose. Go to bed early, rise early. When you align your body with the natural rhythm of the sun, you gain energy, balance, and mental strength. When you rise before the world, you also rise above the world. You get ahead of the crowd, not just physically, but mentally. By the time others are just starting to think about their day, you've already exercised, learned, reflected, and mapped out your priorities. While they're catching up, you're already miles ahead. Here's the truth: success is not about working more hours, it's about working the right hours. The early morning is the prime time for greatness. So, ask yourself, do you want to live like the 99% who crawl out of bed at the last minute, always rushing, always late, always behind? Or do you want to rise like the 1% with energy, clarity, and purpose, already in control before the world even starts? Waking up early is not just about time. It is about power. The power to command your morning, the power to set your pace, power to live life on your terms. Wake up before the world wakes up, and watch how life begins to bend in your favor. Before you eat your first meal, before you step outside your door, and before you interact with the world, you must decide who you are going to be today. This is where 99% of people fail and where the 1% separate themselves. Most people wake up and let the day decide for them. They don't direct their thoughts, they allow thoughts to control them. If the first message they read is negative, they carry negativity. If they see bad news, they carry fear. If they scroll through social media, they carry comparison. Without realizing it, entire mindset for the day is hijacked. And when your mindset is hijacked, your destiny is hijacked. But the 1% live differently. They don't eat breakfast until they've fed their mind. They know that the first thoughts of the day are the blueprint of the entire day. If those thoughts are powerful, they will walk through the day like conquerors. If those thoughts are weak, they will walk through the day like victims. This is why mastering your mindset before breakfast is non-negotiable. Your morning mindset ritual is like tuning an instrument before a great performance. Would a musician play a concert with an untuned violin? Never. So why should you live your day with an untuned mind? Here's how the 1% master their mindset. Gratitude first. Start by focusing on what they already have, not what they lack. Gratitude rewires the brain. When you feel thankful for your life, your challenges shrink and your strength expands. Before you eat, list 3 things you're grateful for. It changes your state instantly. Affirmations and self-talk. They speak power into their own mind. Instead of waiting for the world to approve them, they approve themselves. Of waiting for motivation, they create it, saying, I am strong, I am disciplined, I am unstoppable. might sound simple. Repetition turns it into identity. Visualization, they see their day before it happens. Athletes do this before games. Leaders do this before speeches. The 1% visualize their meetings, their victories, their progress, as if it has already happened. Your brain cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. So why not feed it the reality you want? Silence and meditation. 1% make space for stillness. 5 minutes of deep breathing or meditation resets the nervous system, calms anxiety, and clears fog. A calm mind is a powerful mind. When you make these practices part of your morning, you build a fortress around your mindset. No matter what negativity comes at you during the day, it bounces off. You become unshakable. Think of your mind like a battlefield. If you walk onto that field unarmed, you will lose. But if you start your morning by equipping yourself with gratitude, focus, clarity, and vision, you win before the first arrow is even shot. And here's the deeper truth. The world doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you believe. If you believe you're weak, you'll live weak. If you believe you're powerful, you'll live powerful. And those beliefs are programmed in your morning ritual. So remember this: before you feed your stomach, feed your spirit. Before you consume food, consume power. Before breakfast, program your mind. Because once your mindset is mastered, your day is mastered. And once you master enough days, you master your entire life. There is one undeniable truth about human performance: energy is life. Without energy, you cannot focus, you cannot create, you cannot lead, and you cannot succeed. You may have the best goals in the world, but if your body is weak, tired, and sluggish, your dreams will remain nothing more than ideas. That's why the 1% don't just wake up and think, they wake up and move. The moment you move your body in the morning, you do more than exercise your muscles. You ignite your mind, your emotions, and your spirit. You unlock the hidden power within you. Science proves it. Movement increases blood flow, oxygenates your brain, releases endorphins, and sharpens mental clarity. But beyond science, there is something spiritual about it. Movement reminds your body that it is alive, powerful, and capable. Now, let's talk about the 99%. Most people begin their mornings in stillness and stagnation. They wake up, scroll their phone, sip coffee, hoping the caffeine will magically give them strength. But coffee cannot replace oxygen. Notifications cannot replace movement. And comfort cannot replace discipline. This is why by mid-morning they already feel drained. They never turned their body into a powerhouse. They started the day with weakness. The 1% left differently. They treat their body as their first vehicle of success. Just as a warrior sharpens his sword before battle, they sharpen their body before facing the world. For them, movement is not optional, it's a command. And here's the truth: you don't need a gym, fancy equipment, or hours of training. Even 15 to 20 minutes of intentional movement in the morning can transform your energy. It could be yoga, stretching, push-ups, a run, a walk, or dancing to your favorite song. What matters is that you wake the body up. Because when you wake your body, you wake your energy. Consider this: your body is like a river. If it flows, it brings life. But if it stagnates, it breeds disease and decay. Movement is the key to flow. Clears the toxins, strengthens the muscles, balances the hormones, and sets your energy on fire. There's also a deeper truth here. Movement builds discipline. Each time you choose to exercise in the morning, you are reminding yourself that you are in control of your body, not the other way around. And this discipline spills into everything else: your work, your focus, your habits. The one who controls the body controls the mind. Think about how much stronger your day feels when you start it with movement. Instead of dragging yourself through tasks, you attack them. Instead of waiting for motivation, you create it. Instead of saying, "I can't," you say, "I can." I must, I will. The 1% understand that energy is more valuable than time. You can have 12 hours in a day, but if your energy is low, those 12 hours are wasted. But with high energy, you can achieve in 6 hours what others cannot do in 12. Running to the park, and the way to guarantee high energy is to move your body before the world demands anything from you. So let this be your morning command. Don't just wake up, rise up. Don't just open your eyes, ignite your energy. Don't just step into the day. Charge into it with power. Because once your body is alive, your mind awakens, and when your mind awakens, your destiny shifts. Remember this truth: your body is not a burden, it is your greatest weapon. Treat it with respect, move it with discipline, and it will carry you to heights you never imagined. Every morning when you wake up, you are not just a body that needs food, you are a spirit that needs fuel. Most people rush to the kitchen for breakfast, grab coffee, or eat whatever fills their stomach. They believe feeding the body is the first priority. Here's the truth: a full stomach with an empty spirit is still a starving life. This is where the 99% go wrong. They wake up and immediately seek comfort. Food, caffeine, entertainment. They feed the body, but neglect the soul. And when the spirit is starving, no amount of calories can give you strength, no amount of sugar can give you joy, and no amount of coffee can give you clarity. Top 1% understand this secret: before you feed your body, you must feed your spirit. Why? Because the spirit is the root, and the body is the branch. If the root is weak, the branch cannot carry fruit. But if the root is nourished, the entire tree thrives. Feeding your spirit doesn't have to look the same for everyone. For some, it's prayer. For others, it's meditation. It may be reading scripture, reciting affirmations, writing in a journal, or simply sitting in silence with gratitude. The method is less important than the practice. What matters is that you give your soul attention before the world demands your attention. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two people starting their morning. One wakes up, rushes to eat, scrolls through their phone, and bolts out the door. The other wakes up, sits quietly, closes their eyes, breathes deeply, thanks God for another day, and reflects on their purpose. By the time both step into the same world, one is restless and reactive, while the other is calm, centered, and powerful. Which one do you think will control the day? Spiritual strength creates inner peace. And inner peace is the foundation of outer success. When your spirit is anchored, life cannot shake you. Problems may come, but they don't destroy your focus. Challenges may rise, they don't steal your joy. You don't just live the day, you lead it. Feeding your spirit before your body also changes the way you see the world. Instead of rushing through life with anxiety, you start walking with clarity. Instead of chasing everything, you start attracting the right things. Instead of being a victim of circumstances, you become a master of perspective. Think of it like this: food gives you temporary energy, spiritual fuel gives you eternal strength. Breakfast fills your stomach, but silence, gratitude, prayer, and reflection fill your soul. And when your soul is full, no storm can empty you. So tomorrow morning, ask yourself: will I begin my day as just a body or as a complete being? Will I run after food for my stomach, or will I first give food to my soul? Because the greatest breakfast you can ever have is not bread or coffee. It is peace, clarity, and connection with your higher self. And here's the golden truth: when you feed your spirit first, even the food you eat later tastes better, because it is consumed by a calm soul, not a restless mind. So remember, nourish your soul before you nourish your stomach. Begin the day not with hunger, but with fulfillment. When your spirit is strong, your body follows with strength, your mind works with clarity, your heart beats with courage. Feed your spirit first, and you will never walk through the day empty again. Your morning is sacred ground. It is the soil in which the seeds of your day are planted. If you plant positivity, focus, and peace, you will harvest strength and clarity all day long. But if you allow negativity, noise, and chaos to invade your morning, you will carry weeds in your mind that choke your energy before you even begin. Here lies the great mistake of the 99%. The first thing they do after waking up is open their phone. They scroll through endless notifications, headlines, messages, and social media. Within minutes, they are absorbing the world's anger, fear, gossip, and comparison. Imagine this: your mind, fresh from rest, is like a clean glass of water. Then, suddenly, you pour in drops of poison, bad news, toxic content, someone else's drama. By the time you finish scrolling, that pure water is no longer drinkable. That is what most people do to their mornings. But the 1% know a powerful secret: the morning must be protected at all costs. They understand that what enters your mind in the first hour sets the emotional tone for the rest of the day. That's why they build walls around their mornings. No negative news, no toxic conversations, no aimless scrolling. Instead, guard their attention like treasure. Think of your attention as currency. Every time you check your phone, you spend it. Every time you argue with negativity, you waste it. And here's the truth: once your morning attention is spent on meaningless distractions, run, you don't get it back. You're left drained before you've even faced the real challenges of the day. Protecting your morning doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world forever. It means choosing who and what gets access to you in the most vulnerable hours of your day. It means creating a sacred space for peace, focus, and positivity before the world intrudes. Here are some practices the 1% follow. No news first thing in the morning. If something is truly urgent, you will hear about it. But most headlines are designed to trigger fear, anger, or worry. Why poison your mind before it has even stretched away? No phone for at least the first hour. Social media is a highlight reel of others' lives. The moment you scroll, you compare, you envy, you react. Instead of starting as the author of your day, you begin as a consumer of someone else's story. No toxic people. If someone's energy drains you, don't let them into your morning. Delay the call, delay the conversation. Your peace comes first. Instead of these, 1% fill their mornings with things that protect and empower their energy: inspiring books, uplifting audio, affirmations, silence, journaling, prayer, or even simply listening to the birds outside. They choose inputs that nourish, not inputs that drain. Because here's the truth: what you allow in will live within. If you allow chaos in the morning, you will carry chaos in your heart. If you allow peace, you will carry peace. And let's be honest, the world will try to steal your attention all day long. Emails, deadlines, stress, conflicts, notifications. These will come whether you like it or not. That is exactly why the morning is non-negotiable. It is your only guaranteed time to shape your energy before the storms of the day arrive. Protecting your morning from negativity is not selfish. It is survival. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. Because the one who controls their morning controls their life. So tomorrow, treat your morning like a fortress. Guard its gates. Choose carefully what you allow in, because once negativity enters, it multiplies. But if you protect your peace, that peace will multiply instead. Remember, the first battle of the day is not against the world. It is against distraction and negativity. If you win that battle, you carry victory into every other part of your life. Life will always go in one of two directions. Either you design it or you drift through it. Let me tell you, drifting is the silent killer of dreams. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, resources, or opportunity. Fail because they never take control of their days. They wake up with no plan, no clarity, no priorities. They drift into their mornings, drift through their afternoons, and drift into their nights. Their life becomes a cycle of reacting to problems, to people, to noise. Year after year, they wonder why nothing changes. It's because they never designed their day, they only survived it. But the top 1% know a powerful truth: design creates destiny. Every morning, before they step into the chaos of the world, they sit down and design their day with intention. They don't wait for life to decide what's important. They decide for themselves, know exactly what their top 3 priorities are. They know what must be accomplished for the day to be a success. They live by a compass, not by a clock. Drifting feels easy in the moment, but it leads to regret. Design feels disciplined in the moment, but it leads to freedom. Let's imagine 2 people. One wakes up, checks their phone, and reacts all day. They answer every message, attend every request, and say yes to everything. By night, they are exhausted but unfulfilled. The second person wakes up, writes down their goals, blocks time for their priorities, and chooses carefully what to say yes or no to. By night, they are tired too, but fulfilled because they moved forward with intention. One drifted, the other designed. Designing your day is like drawing a blueprint before building a house. Without a blueprint, the house collapses. Without a daily design, your life collapses. But with clear design, you build something strong, meaningful, and lasting. So how do the 1% design their days? They write down priorities. Not 20 things, just 3. Because clarity is power, and simplicity creates focus. They schedule energy, not just tasks. They know when they are most focused, and they design their hardest work for those hours. They anticipate distractions. Instead of being surprised by interruptions, they plan boundaries. They review at night. They don't just design once, they refine. Every day becomes a stepping stone toward their larger vision. And here's the deeper truth: when you design your day, you are not just designing 24 hours. You are designing your future. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years, and years become your legacy. But drifting steals everything from you quietly. You won't even notice at first. One missed goal becomes 2, one wasted year becomes 5. Before long, you wake up in a life you never chose. A life built by accident instead of by design. The 1% refuse to let that happen. Run in park. They don't wait for motivation. They create systems. They don't wait for luck. They build strategies. They don't wait for clarity. They design it. And because they design every single day with intention, they design their lives with power. So I ask you, are you drifting through your mornings, or are you designing them? Are you living life by accident or by strategy? Because here is the ultimate truth: those who drift will always be controlled by life. Those who design will always control life. Stop drifting, designing. Stop waiting, start leading. Your destiny is not built in the future. It is built in the daily design of your mornings. So, my friends, let me leave you with this truth: your mornings are your life in miniature. How you start each day determines how you live each day. How you live each day ultimately determines the life you create. Most people live like the 99%. Reactive, rushed, distracted, and unfocused. The 1%, they live with design, with intention, and with power. They don't drift into mornings. They command them. They don't hand over control. They take control. Remember the 7 secrets. Control your first hour. Wake up before the world. Master your mindset before breakfast. Move your body to ignite energy. Feed your spirit before your stomach. Protect your morning from negativity. Design your day instead of drifting. These are not habits for the few. They are habits available to anyone willing to rise with discipline. The difference between the 99% and the 1% is not luck. It is choice. The choice of how they wake up, how they prepare, and how they take control. So, tomorrow morning when your alarm rings, you will face a decision. Will you wake up like the 99% reacting, rushing, and drifting? Or will you rise like the 1%, calm, powerful, and unstoppable, ready to command the day? The secret is no longer hidden. The key is in your hands, running through the park. The only question is, will you use it? Because the truth is simple. If you change your mornings, you will change your life.